Hey everybody, I'm your host, Sara Davis. Welcome back to another episode of the LTU Sports Report. COVID has impacted each and every student athlete here on campus, but the athletes are adjusting to the changes and happy to be with their teammates. This episode is filled with a lot of exciting content. We get to know one of the cross-country runners, some fitness tips, an esports update, and much, much more. So don't go anywhere. The LTU Sports Report starts right now. Up first is our interview with the head coach of the women's lacrosse team.
So today, first day, we're back on campus. I heard a lot of creative ways really to stay busy during the quarantine. Just take us through, before you return to LTU, what you've been up to this summer.
Great question. This summer I spent time with family, especially my kids, just trying to figure out what it was going to look like once students and student athletes came back to campus. Just working on certain protocols. Everything's different, everything's new, and just trying to take one day at a time.
Yeah, so you just said everything's a little bit different. This year definitely has been. I can imagine recruiting has been a little bit different too. Can you take us through if that changed at all?
So recruiting is definitely looking a little bit different. No person in, just watching a lot of film right now. I've been working with our administration, focusing on some of the things that we can do a little bit better as a department, as well as working on policies and procedures so we can return to play safely again.
You brought in a couple of new girls. Just what do you think they're going to add to the team and bring to the table this year?
Brought in a lot of defenders, a couple goalies too. The newcomers on the field will add depth to our already strong core of returners.
So due to COVID, your girls will have a shortened season. What are you doing really as a coaching staff to prepare the players for that? Really, keeping them in shape and in step with practice and everything, even though the season is pushed a little bit back.
Practice this fall will look a little bit different. We will focus on individual skills like shooting, dodging, footwork. We'll probably do a lot of walkthrough with our offense and defensive sets. We will work on game IQ. I think it's something that is important and we don't do enough of. So that would entail watching a lot of film of other teams playing around the country. Hopefully this is a great opportunity for us to really break things down for the team and prepare us for next season.
No, that's awesome. I wish the best for you guys and the rest of your season. Can't wait to be out there broadcasting and interviewing you all. Thanks for joining me today.
Great. Thank you.
We got to know one of the female soccer players in a segment we call Get to Know. Let's take a look at some of the things that interest her off the field.
My name's Madison Greenlee. I'm a fifth-year senior and I play women's soccer. My favorite TV show is probably Dead to Me because it's just so funny and there's so many plot twists. It's super addicting. I think I watched it in one day. My favorite artist is probably Morgan Wallen. I gotta love the mullet. He's very attractive and his music is just so good. My favorite vacation spot is probably Southern California. My aunt and my cousins live there, and every time we go, it's just such a great time, and it's super warm. It's much nicer than the Midwest. My celebrity crush is probably Chris Hemsworth. Big fan. Love him in all his movies, especially the ones where his shirt's off.
If you're still looking for ways to build muscle and get stronger without using a gym, the strength coach Brian Whitting has a fitness tip coming your way. Check it out.
Grilled chicken, nice lean meat, good source of protein, exactly what you need to build muscle. You want to get big? Start eating chicken.
Recently, we got an update from Joel Graves, who's the president of the Esports Club here at LTU.
Hey Joel, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Let's jump in and talk about how the LTU Esports organization is doing over on the university's campus.
Yeah, so it's very interesting how esports has played a role at LTU. It's definitely evolved over the course of the years that it's been a thing at LTU. It's really started when I was a freshman here back in 2017, and it's really evolved to something that involves a lot of the campus. And we have our own Discord server, and there's over 100 people in this Discord server. So over the last few semesters and years, we've really pushed to incorporate all of LTU's gaming community, and not even people who are interested in games, but those people who play casually, those people who want to play competitively, all into one place. So LTU Esports is definitely involved, and it's going to continue to evolve. Even now with the whole coronavirus situation, we're still trying to keep all of our members active.
And so will you guys be featured in the org fair that's going on at Welcome Week?
Yes, we will. I actually had a meeting with a few of my eBoard members this past week, and we're going to be there Tuesday. So if anyone's watching this, come by, say hello. I'll be there. I think Zach will also be there, so you can get some information. We'll have some flyers to pass out and how you can join our Discord server and just come hang out.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope that you guys get some new recruits. I know that things are a bit different this year with the pandemic and all. And then that brings me to my next question is I know that our varsity esports team was set to start this year, but has been pushed back. Are you able to tell me a little bit of information about that on the collegiate side of the esports scene that's going to come soon to LTU, but just has a bit of a delay?
Yeah, so there's no confirmed information. The university is taking, they're really focused on the health and well-being of everyone at the university. So esports isn't quite a top priority. So I want to, as the club president for LTU Esports, I want to keep the gaming community, the esports community active at LTU. So when we do officially launch our varsity esports program, we already have the interest, we already have the people interested, and it's just so much smoother as a transition for people who want to play at the collegiate level. So I'm hoping for maybe possibly instead of this fall, maybe next fall, but a lot of the coronavirus stuff has blown over and it's a lot better. So I'm very hopeful. I'll still be around next fall. I still got a few more years before I graduate, so I'll still be around then. And I still can't wait for, even now with, like I said, the club stuff building up, it's still going to be so much better when we do have this official varsity program.
All right, well, it sounds super exciting. Thank you so much for the brief update on how the LTU esports gaming scene is staying alive during all of this. Is there anything else that you would like to add for any incoming students or current students trying to get into LTU esports?
Well, if you ever see any of us on campus, I know I'm usually the big face of it, but it's a lot more people who are involved in esports than you might think. A lot of them coincide and are part of the other student organization, Infinite Machine. So there's a lot of back and forth between these two student organizations. So a lot of the game design and game art and game development students also participate in our esports program. And something uniquely we do is we still connect with our alumni. So some of our recent grads from this last spring or grads from previous years still hang out and still talk to us and play games with us whenever they have free time. So it's really fun to still see that after people have graduated from LTU that they're still interacting with the student life.
We got to know one of the cross-country members in another segment of Get to Know.
I'm Hunter Richards. I'm a freshman here at LTU and I run cross country. My favorite TV show is, I'd have to say, Outer Banks, because it's got a lot of relatable things in it, and it's just a really cool show. My favorite vacation spot is definitely up north, which is in Bel Air, Michigan. My grandma has a cabin on a lake. It's just a really relaxing place to be. Favorite superhero, definitely Iron Man. He's always been the coolest. He is still the coolest, and he's just the best superhero of all time. My favorite kind of animal is actually a pig, because a lot of people misinterpret what a pig actually is, and they just think it's just this nasty, sloppy animal, but it's actually, they're really smart and they're cool, and they're really funny animals, actually.
We caught up with the cross-country team to hear about how they've been prepping for their upcoming season. Check it out.
The major difference would be that we have to wear masks while we're talking before we run. And then when we run, we gotta stay 6 feet apart and social distance.
We use this app called Strava, and you can upload your run to that, and we can check their heart rate and like what pace they're going and how far they go, which is pretty nice to check up to see if they keep up on their running, their summer running.
It's a little harder this year to keep everyone motivated, but we'll be doing practice races throughout the season, just racing against each other, so I think that will help us stay motivated.
Time management is really a key thing in being a college athlete, because you have to manage your time in cross country with your sports, any sports really, and doing school, even though school is now online for some people, or like it's half in person, half in line, but like just stay on top of everything. It's very tough to focus on that because we're basically training for the spring, which is so far away, but our coaches have come up with a plan to split us into teams of 4 on meet days that we're supposed to have meets. We're gonna do like a time trial and race against each other. And so that will help us focus on our goal of becoming faster and a better team.
Being back with the team, everyone's really awesome here, and it's just really fun running with everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the LTU Sports Report. That's all the coverage that we have for you, but be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at LTU Sports Report. I'm your host, Sara Davis. We'll see you next week.